And welcome back to redheart.com as well as the Crochet Crowd. I'm your host Mikey, and today I have another Afghan project for you to work on. This is called the Rainbow View Afghan. Love this Afghan. This Afghan is one of those that it looks really complicated, but it really isn't. It's one of those ones where you think it's going to take a lot of time and it doesn't. So this is one of those ones where the shaping inside the Afghan has pineapples as it works away, and as the pattern repeats you change the color. So then basically it's one pineapple per line. So this is one of those Afghans you can change the colors as much as you want, have a really good time doing it, and you can really hook this bad boy up really quickly. So without further ado, let me take you to the studio, show you how easy the Rainbow View Afghan is by redheart.com. So here's a closer up sample view of the pineapple, and what you can see here is that there's two layers here, and in actual fact, according to the instructions, you should be changing the layer every time you're starting a new pineapple. So in actual fact there should be two colors. What I wanted to show you here is that there is actually a pattern here that without having to constantly go back in your instructions. My assistant Colleen was saying that she kept having to go back row after row after row up until about 6 inches before she caught on to what the pattern is. And so I want to tell you what that pattern is. When you go to reach over, you're always going to chain 3. So that's because we need to reach over to create the bottom of the pineapple. And the next layer it'll only be chaining 1. So you chain 1 on one side, chain 1 on the other. Now that the pineapple is getting smaller, this side you're always going to chain 2, this side you're always going to chain 2. And then the pineapple is at its most narrowest point at the top, we're going to chain 3 and 3. And so then the repeat pattern comes back down into play again, and what we're doing is then chaining 3, chaining 1, 2, and 3. And keep doing that, and if you can get that into your brain, it's easy. So only one line is always different, and this is the very this open shell line. It's different in the middle here, but all of the rest of it here in between is always the same except for the one line. So hopefully, I know that's long-winded, but if you can get that pattern into your brain, this Afghan flies like you wouldn't believe. So let's begin now. So let's begin. We're going to create a slip knot, and that'll start us off. As per the instructions, you will be chaining 146. I will not obviously be doing that on camera. Mine is just going to be a sample to show you how the stitch works, and then once you see the repeat pattern it'll make sense. So simply do the slip knot, and I'm using a size 5.5 millimeter crochet hook today, size I. The instructions call for a size G or 4.5. This pattern is one of those you can substitute the hook and the yarn very easily and still maintain the pattern. So let's begin is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and what I want you to do is that I want you to go to 146. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do a sample just to show you how this works out. To begin row number 1, we are going to single crochet the second chain from the hook. So this is 1 and 2, and simply just go in. I always turn the chains over to get the back loop of a chain. It's something I've been doing for the last 6 months. So I want you to single crochet there, and once you turn that chain over it stays turned over. So I want you then to do that, and now chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And you're gonna think to yourself, this does not make sense, but it says in the next skip the next 5 chains. So let's come back down to the line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip the next 5, go to the 6th, okay, and it says to do the open shell. So if you look at the top of the instructions, it says open shell is 1 double crochet so far. So we're just gonna wrap the hook and going into that one there and do a double crochet, and now let's read what the rest of the open shell is. So what's gonna happen is it says chain 1 and then double crochet 4 times. Now if you look in the instructions is that the brackets are around chain 1 and double crochet 4 times. So we have to be very conscientious that that's what you're repeating. You're not doing the chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet 4 times, if that makes any sense. So that just helps you understand your pattern better. And so if you do this 4 times, what's gonna happen is that you'll end up with 5 double crochets just like this. So this is the open shell. So let's go back down to the line, and this is a repeat pattern going all the way across. So it says to chain 3, so 1, 2, and 3, and it says to skip the next 5. So coming back down 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and go to the 6th for a single crochet like there. And so now we're gonna repeat this pattern once again. So you can see that you would think that the chaining 5 is way too much, but because this open wave is opening up like this, is that this chaining of 3 plus the double crochet allows you to reach that far over. So let's begin again. We're going to chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3. We are going to skip 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and go to the 6, double crochet, because that's part of the open shell, and we're going to repeat that again. So chain 1, double crochet and do that 4 times. So just every time you double crochet, just automatically instinctively put in a chain 1 until you see that there is 5 going in a fan shape, just like that. So then I want you to skip, once you do that, chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3, and then again skip the next 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, go to the 6, and you're gonna do that all the way across. Now if you are doing a smaller sample, I'm gonna pretend that this is the edge of the project for me. So I'm just gonna stop here, and so essentially you're going to have a whole thing of these fans going all the way across, and so essentially this is what it's gonna look like on row number 1. Row number 1 is the only time you're going to be able to do it. Rows number 2, 3, 4 and 5 are going to be the repeat pattern for this entire project. So once you get all the way across, I simply just want you to turn your work. So obviously your work is going to be a lot bigger than this. So we want to begin. This is going to be row number 2. This is always the same for rows number 2, and now this is the start of the repeat pattern. So it says chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and it says to 2 double crochets in the first single crochet. So right in there, the first one there, we're just going to put in 2 more double crochets. So the side line for most of the rows is going to look exactly like this. Only on the rows that you're doing this open shell is it going to be different. Every other row is going to be the same as what we're doing right now. So remember what I said to you in the beginning about knowing and understanding the chains in between. Now because this is reaching over and because this is so close to me, I'm always going to just chain 1 first, like that, and then we're going to come right into the first space of that open shell, and we're going to single crochet. So in the pineapple, every time we're going and jumping to make the pineapple shape, we're always going to chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3. So if you can remember that, you're laughing. And so you're filling these in, so every time you go to start this project, there's going to be something less and less as you work up the rows, because you're doing it in between. So 1, 2 and 3, just grabbing in between until you run out of in between spaces. So 1, 2 and 3. So there'll be a total layer of 3. Now just like we started off with chain 1 on this side, we're going to chain 1 on this side. So that's an automatic given. So now we're going to do a different kind of stitch that's on the top, and this is called the large shell. And the large shell is completed right in this middle single crochet in between this other stuff. So to do that, we're going to 2 double crochet in, so 1 and 2, and then you're going to chain 1, and then 2 double crochet in again to that same spot. So that is the nice stitch work that you see in between the pineapples there. So remember that we chained 1 here when we started this, chain 1 here. That means that any pineapples that we run into, we're automatically chaining 1 before we start the pineapples, and then single crochet into the first gapping space there, 1, 2 and 3, and then going into the next space. So 1, 2 and 3 into the next space. Okay, 1, 2 and 3. You just keep filling in these pineapple spaces. So now that you've filled them all in, you're just going to chain 1, and then on the very outside one here, you know how we started off with the chaining of 3 and then 2 single crochets on this side of the chain? On the end of it, you're gonna go and do the same thing. So unless you're at the end, this is what you'll do at the end. So just 3 double crochets right into that end single crochet. So it's a very easy pattern to be able to follow across, and let's move up and we're gonna move on to row number 3. So here's what you can see so far. So let's move up the row. We're gonna turn our work once again, and this row starts off identically to what you started in the row below. So it's just identical. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Put in 2 double crochets right into the base of that stitch, like so. So remember what I said in the introduction of this video about how the pineapple is getting smaller as it works up. Therefore we chained 1 every time we reached across from this point, but because the next point is a bit further over, we always in this one have to chain 2. So 1 and 2, and then reach over to single crochet. So you can see the distance is changing. So now we're in the pineapple, so we automatically chain 3 to fill in the spaces. 1, 2, and 3, and you keep doing that until you run out of spaces. So we've just run out, and now we're heading back toward the middle point of in between the pineapples. So we chain 2 on this side, therefore on this side we also have to chain 2 before we begin, because this side is also getting smaller and further away from the center point. The center point, we are going to do this shell work again, so we're just going to do 2 double crochet right into that space where they are, and chain 1 and 2 double crochets. So now we're ready for another pineapple. So just like we started on this side, we chained 2 and we did pineapple, chain 2, pineapple. That means at this side we're also still chaining 2 to reach over to the pineapple, and then once we get in we single crochet and then chain 3 and fill it in, and you'll do that all the way across. Just like that. And so once you're finished this pineapple and you're on the very end of it, all you're just going to do is chain 2, 1 and 2, because that's what you did over here to start this pineapple. We have to chain 2 first. We come into the very last chaining turn, or the turning chain, and we double crochet 3 times within that same stitch, and then that'll complete off this row like this. So most of the pineapple is almost done. We just got to do one more row, and then the pineapple for this color would be done. So let's turn our work again and let's do the last layer. And remember what I said in the intro, we had of 3, chaining of 3, then we had chaining of 1, 2, and so then this one will be chaining of 3, because the pineapple is really far over at this point from the edge, and it's really far over from the middle point of in between the shell work. So if you can remember that, so it's 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3. So let's begin. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Just like the last row, we're going to double crochet into the base of that to carry on that pattern. The next row, which is the repeat, it's also in the repeat, is always going to be the one that's slightly different from everybody else. So now that the pineapple is a lot farther over here, we have to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. We get to the pineapple. Okay, so there's only 2 gaps in the pineapple, therefore we're going to reach over into the middle to create the last one. So we're going to single crochet, and then 1, 2, 3, because we're filling in the pineapple, coming onto the other side. And now that you've done that, see how far that distance is? So remember that it'll be chaining of 3, 1, 2, 3. So what you've done on this side will be mirrored on this side. So once you've done that, you're going to do another big shell into this one here, and it's 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. Oops, I missed that. So 2 double crochets. Okay, so now think about this. You've already done the pineapple, you chained your 3 here, you chained your 3 here. That means to start the next pineapple, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. So then we're looking for the pineapple spaces. There should only be 2, and we come into the first one for a single, and then 1, 2, and 3 coming into the other side for a single, and now we're going back onto the end. So you're going to keep going along until you get to the end. Once you get to the end, it's just like anything else, chaining 3 first, 1, 2, and 3 to reach over, and then in the turning chain you're just going to double crochet 3 times in this one. 2 and 3. So that'll complete off this round, and now it's time to move up to round number, or sorry, row number 4. And you can see the pineapples have really taken shape at this point. So let's begin row number 5. We're going to turn our work, and so row number 5 is the only row that's different from all of them. So everything, like in the sense of beginning. So we're going to chain 1 first. So we're only going to chain 1 and then single crochet into the very first, just like that. So we have to reach all the way to the middle point of the pineapple. It's the last stitch that's left. So we're going to chain 3 first. So 1, 2, and 3. That's how I was saying. Remember, like I said, chaining in 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then again we're going to be chaining 3 here. So just remember that. So we're going to double crochet. Once you've chained 3, you're going to double crochet into the middle gapping of the pineapple, and we're going to do the open shell. So to do that is just like you did already down here. Once you do the first double crochet, you're going to chain 1 and keep double crocheting. So chain 1 and just keep working in that big gap, so that you get a total of 5 double crochets all splaying out like that. So now that you chain 3 on this side, that means that you have to chain 3 on this side. And what you want to do is just single crochet yourself into the middle of the 2 that's right in here, just like that. And so let's begin again. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. So this is how you go across. You're going to look for the next gapping space of the next pineapple. Just double crochet into that space after you've chained your 3, and then do your open shell. So chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and so you get a total of 5 of them. It's really easy to tell if there's 5. So once you get your 5, you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. You will do the middle as if you're going all the way across, just like this, or once you get to the end, you're just going to single crochet into the final turning chain to begin, like this. And this here is where we should have changed the color at this point, but we just kept it the same. So it's one of those patterns you can either just run with the same color for maybe 2 pineapples in a row. You can do as many color changes as you wish. We're just going to simply just turn our work and just begin again, and moving back up to row number 2 in order to finish off the rest of this project. So all you're going to do now is just continue to go back from rows 2 all the way to 5 and just keep repeating the pattern. You've already seen it here, so you can just reverse the video if you need to in order to remind yourself. And remember, you just have to understand that these chaining all makes sense. So you have 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3. And once you can get that, it happens on this side of the pineapple, it happens on this side, and once you can get that into your brain, you will find that this pattern will go extremely quickly. Until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of redheart.com as well as the Crochet Crowd. Stay tuned for more free patterns and ideas. Until next time,